ain't sleeping till Hollywood. We ain't sleeping.
All right, everybody. This is the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. We're not sleeping until we make it in Hollywood. And while we're up, we will be discussing the state of the industry and our place in it. It's your girl, Gaelyn Smith.
It's your boy, Caleb McDonald. And we are here. We are here to talk about things. But before we get into the industry topic, our last episode was about the Writers Guild of America and their potential strike. And today, Tuesday, May 2nd, 8:45, we are
So specific.
the WGA is on strike. It has been authorized. It's in action. The deals were not met. There was no agreement found. So we will keep you updated on the strike. But as of right now, the strike moves on.
Yes. If you want to learn more about the strike, you can go listen to our first podcast episode of the season. The town is shutting down. You also, like selfish, shameless promotion, you can also go to my TikTok page where I did a Get Ready With Me explainer in 3 parts that tells you all of the things you need to know. If you don't want to do 45 minutes, you can do like 9 minutes of listening. But if you want to learn more about it, those are places you can go. Also, make sure that you are, checking the WGA Twitter pages, websites, as well as WGA writers. So any of your writers of your favorite television shows, they're probably talking about this as well. But make sure you're getting your information from actual WGA members or people who are doing their good research and not necessarily just listening to the trades because, they can be a little biased. So make sure you're getting like a well-rounded thingamajigger. We're going to go with thingamajigger.
And in the meantime, nobody should be writing for anybody. Well,
period.
Not for anybody.
Write for yourself.
Yeah, write for yourself. Keep that pen going. You know what I'm saying? But no scabbing, okay? And for those who don't know, scabbing is working for the companies that we are specifically protesting against, because that will get you barred from any possible WGA entry.
Yo, I know we have to move on, but quickly, people on Twitter who are talking about how they're gonna scab just geek me because babes, if you wasn't getting meetings with these folks 2 weeks ago, I don't think they was just on Twitter who are the non-unions so we can just baby, ain't nobody calling my phone yet, and I don't believe anybody will. And if they calling me now, baby, I don't have nothing to tell you. Get the WGA together before you call me, okay? So sorry. But let's get into today's industry topic. So today we're going to talk a little bit about church movies. Specifically, we're going to talk about the new Will Packer produced film starring Chloe Bailey, Praise This. If you guys have not seen it, it is currently available on Peacock. Will Packer is the guy who brought you the Think Like a Man franchise. He produced This Christmas. He produced the Stomp the Yard sequel. He's done a lot of different modern Black classics. What'd you say? Huh?
He produced The Slap, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He was the producer for the Oscars last year when Will Smith got to wildin'. Damn. Will Packer, that dude. Okay, if y'all don't know about him, go research him. That man is that dude. But his new film is called Praise This. Like I said, currently streaming on Peacock.
And for those of you who don't know what the movie is about, after being sent to live with her cousins in Atlanta, a troubled young woman's search for stardom leads her to Christ after her aunt and uncle force her to join the praise team. The young woman in question is played by Chloe Bailey. Her character's name is Sam.
The movie also features Drewski. It has Quavo, Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child is in it, Tristan Wilds. Literally everybody is in this movie. Jacqueline Carr, Corinne Hawthorne. They got celebrities, and they got the gospel celebrities. Everybody in this movie for real.
And it was a fun time. I mean, Gaelyn, what were your thoughts on the movie?
I enjoyed the movie. We're going to get into it because a lot of people was getting real spicy on TikTok. People were like, this movie is not of God. And God told me not to watch this movie and to tell y'all that the devil... Baby, I don't got time for none of it. It was fun. Literally, Will Packer says in some interviews how he was trying to write a movie about the Black church. And obviously, Hollywood doesn't really understand certain Black experiences. But what they do understand is, competition movies, dance movies. And so basically this is like Christian praise. It's basically Praise This is like Christian Pitch Perfect. And so it is a fun movie, Like I said, so many people are in it. I think it was just really funny. I think it was also just a really modern look at like the church. I think so many young people now are in a position where they are trying to reconnect with God. And I think that that can be a very scary thing when like church culture makes you feel ashamed for who you are and makes you feel like you need to behave a certain way. And this movie literally tackles that. I mean, Sam is chasing her dreams in LA. She gets sent to Atlanta and she comes to Atlanta and she's like, this is country. Her cousin tries to help her get dressed for church. She's like, yo, dresses is frumpy. Like she comes in with this, worldly attitude. And it's about how she comes to God. And honestly, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it was fun. It's not going to necessarily be an Oscar movie or something that, is like deeply, deeply profound, but it's a fun watch. It's enjoyable. I loved the soundtrack personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to catch the Holy Ghost off the soundtrack, but I think it was fun. And sometimes movies can just be fun.
No, I perfectly agree. Like if I had to describe the movie in 3 words, it's a fun little movie. Like no disrespect.
Like not little in the sense of little, but like it's just a fun little movie. Like
right. Because no, the movie definitely had like the heart was there the entire time. Like you could tell that everybody was on the same page, that the cast like had the energy that they needed for it. Like no, the movie was well put together. Do I have qualms with some of the writing? Maybe.
yeah,
Maybe.
a couple.
Just the tag,
Structurally, there were some things where I was like, I don't understand. And I think it was one of those movies where at the end, like you have questions. Like you and I were talking when we were trying to figure out like a synopsis. And I was like, it leads her to connect with God. And you were like, does she connect with God? And I was like, yes, like that was the end of the movie. And I was like, okay, well, that was a part of the storyline that I think was a little bit weaker, or like, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but like the storyline with like her and Quavo from the romantic space was very like, they set us up in the beginning and then we never we didn't get the end. Apparently, allegedly in real life, her and Quavo are like going together on the low.
No way.
I don't know if you saw, did you see the Complex Goat talk with them talking about the movie, like in promotion for this movie? And then he was like, oh, okay, so they do this thing on Goat Talk where it's like, they'll pick cards and it'll be like, GOAT artist, GOAT athlete. And they were like, GOAT Gentlemen's Club. And Chloe was like, oh, I've never, been to the Gentlemen's Club. And he was like, oh, do you like throwing money? She was like, no, but I like to see beautiful bodies. He's like, all right, I'm going to take you. Like Magic City Mondays, we outside. And then apparently they was at the club recently. And then I watched Lotto the rapper. She has a show on Apple Music called 777 Radio. She had Chloe as her first guest. And she asked her on the show if she was messing around with Quavo. And Chloe was like, we have a movie together. He's a very nice man. And listen, me and Chloe the same age. I know what a very nice man means, okay? Listen, sis, I ain't mad at it. Quavo was fine. Easy breezy,
That's
beautiful
crazy.
trap nigga.
I didn't think they would get him for this church movie though. I'm not gonna lie. That was a nice surprise for me.
I enjoyed it. Apparently, Will Packer was saying that Quavo has been like reaching out to him. Well, he's been talking to Quavo because they're all from Atlanta and had talked to him about getting into acting. And Will Packer had just been like keeping him in mind. And he finally, had a role. And like, let's be very clear. Quavo is not doing hard acting in this movie. Like, he's playing a rapper from Atlanta who has a relationship with God. That's Quavo in real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't necessarily too outside of him, but I did enjoy seeing Quavo. I like the same way I felt about Drewski. Like, Drewski is, he's funny on the internet. He a loud friend who do too much. That's who he played in the movie. Like, I liked that this movie allowed for a lot of new actors to be seen, but also just created space for people to do what they're doing. People, if you have seen the movie, you might not necessarily realize this, but Jacqueline Carr, I kept saying Jacqueline, I think her name is actually pronounced Jacqueline. Jacqueline Carr and Corinne Hawthorne are gospel stars. They are singers. They just happen to be in this movie playing gospel singers. So I think that it's like a movie that gave a lot of people shine in the lane that was already created for them, which I really appreciate. personally.
Right. And I did really appreciate the fact that the movie was modern in that it not only talked about how, people aren't always going to live up to this image that people have of Christians, but it also touched on the fact that music could be listened to outside of the gospel world, which does bring up a great question.
Mm.
Why do Christians hate secular music so bad?
But like, truthfully and honestly, like, this has been the year of people wilding. Like, we had the whole Beyonce Renaissance tour, people calling her a witch foolishness in like February. Then
Yeah.
Transformation Church, which I used to attend online, not in actual Oklahoma.
Right.
They had an Easter play and people were losing it about the Easter play. This movie came out the week after Easter. People were losing it about this. Like, I am personally somebody who really, I listen to a lot of music. And for me, I
Yeah.
use Tidal. So I favorite everything. On my Tidal, like, if you just go to my favorite tracks, it's just anything that I've ever favorited. So like, the order is crazy. Like, there was a point in time where it was like, you could literally hear Center of My Joy by Richard Smallwood and then Fuck Nigga Free by Glorilla. Like, there's no order to it. And I really am just like into music. But like, for me, I love gospel music, but I also love when gospel music bops like secular music, because at the end of the day, like, I'm so sorry, I am in my 20s. I am not trying to listen to old Negro spirituals, old hymns. Them not bopping
Mm,
in the car for real. But when they remixed God's Plan and mixed it with Same God Right Now at the end of the movie,
right.
they got me. The
No, I gotta hand
the Money remix, 8. The Savage
I gotta hand
remix,
it to the remixes. The remixes were every like that. That's what made the movie, if nothing. Like if I were to go back and watch the movie, it'd be less for the plot, more for the
oh yeah.
acting, and for the music that
The
was in
songs
the
just
film.
eat. Like, I've been playing that the Nationals medley. I've been playing it multiple times today, but I've been playing it for the last week. But like, I like gospel trap. This is my new favorite genre, to be honest. There's this
Mhm.
song on TikTok. Well, I found it on TikTok, but I've been listening to it. But it's by this artist called DKGKIE, and DKG stands for Demon Killer Gang. And the song is called Bible Blicky Baby, and it's my jam. She my
Right.
Bible Blicky baby. She my first, not my last. I don't believe in no first ladies. Like, that's my jam, okay? Like, I don't know why the Christians be so mad. Honestly, I feel like it's because the aunties, they want everything to be how they had it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
this not your grandma's church movie. This not your grandma's church music. But like, they want everything to be old. Like, I feel like, I don't know, my mom on Easter was telling me how she watches Passion of the Christ every single year. And girl, why?
That's that's traumatic.
Exactly. Like, I feel like Passion of the Christ and Fruitvale Station are those movies you need to see one time and be done. You
Right.
don't need to see
Like
them again.
no, because I think that also part of it too is every once in a while it's like all right, religion, it's God exists and like nothing else, right?
Right.
But then like you do have the depth moments where it's like no, angels are real too, demons are real, the devil's
Mm,
real.
right.
And so when you get into those moments, there's so much, the lore in Christianity goes crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say that right now. The lore in Christianity, y'all need to read up on that, yo. There's a whole book. There's a whole book and
Oh,
more.
actually, wait, Caleb. It's an anthology of books, actually. If
Right,
we want to
right.
be
It's a
technical,
whole if we want to get technical.
it's an
But
anthology.
and part of that does talk about how Lucifer, devil, was like one of the angels of music, angel of light. And so I think that is also a major factor in people's fear of secular music
Hmm.
because they know that the devil could play a little tune.
Yeah.
So if it sounds good, oh, it must be that devil.
It
It must
must be the devil.
it must be Lucy. They
Yo,
say
I
it
don't know
comes.
if you guys know Kevin not Lucy. Now you brought two things back for me. Kevin Stage, when he was growing up, could only listen to gospel music, and his dad's definition of gospel was very specific to the point where like he couldn't really listen to Mary Mary because like they had I think the song was Shackles. He couldn't listen to it because they never actually said God in the song. So even though it was take the shackles off my feet so I can dance, I just want to praise him. He was
Right.
like, who's him? They ain't say God. And so he couldn't listen to it. But also, if y'all know, I really do like music for real. Kendrick Lamar's album To Pimp a Butterfly, he has the whole thing about talking to Lucy, which is the devil. And he talks about the devil's influence in his life once he got famous. Great album. Go listen to it if you haven't. So, I mean, I don't know. The music slaps for me. One thing about it, I don't know. I feel like people's faith be real like wishy-washy, real if then. Like if a song makes you quote unquote lose your religion, you wasn't that strong in the Lord for real. Like,
I mean, granted, there is the whole conversation of gateway music and gateway this and gateway that.
okay, but like
So
what does that even mean? Because like Caleb, you know me, for example, right? You know I love the drug dealer music. I
right.
love 21 Savage, one of my favorite artists right now. Like, I'm Mr. Body Snatcher, Slaughter Gangs. I love it. But have you
Mhm.
seen me commit murder? Let's be
Not
even
yet.
clear. Caleb, have you ever seen me fight anyone?
No, but you do be talking about it though.
But have I done it?
No, you haven't.
And also, if I got into a fight, do you think I would win? Be for real.
I mean, I feel like that's neither here nor there. And why would you put yourself in that position publicly? But
I don't know. I just feel like people are like gateway this, gateway that. Baby, I've been listening to, I don't know. I feel like, especially like in our generation, like a lot of the very popular music has been very, very violent. And yes, I'm not saying that that doesn't encourage some people to do it, but like you can't blame music influence on something when there are so many other factors that make up a person's life. You know what I'm
but
saying?
I think that the issue is, and this is what the movie was talking about, is that it's not so much, oh, you're listening to this song, you're gonna go down a bad path. It's
Mm.
really more so, oh, they're listening to that song. I'm not going to like allow them near me because that's not godlike. And because of people's image of what's godlike and what's not, like that's what ends up isolating people in the religion.
Which I
And
think
so
goes
it's
back to
really,
even I think it goes back to like Sam because that's I when I did my videos on TikTok, my whole point was like, regardless, a young woman finds God through her love of music. Is that not the actual point of all of it? Right? Because like if we have churches that don't have no new members and everybody's 87, when did you go out and actually bring people into the Lord? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that kind of a thing where I'm just like, it doesn't I think the outrage is the reason why the movie has to exist.
mhm.
Is that people are so narrow-minded and so sensitive about their understanding of God. I think honestly, like we confine God to our own understandings, and our own understandings are so much based in fear and so much based in limitation, where it's like, if God can go with me into the shadow of the valley of death, I think God can go to the club with me too. I think God can listen to 21 Savage with me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think that the Lord, I mean, yes, I'm sure the Lord probably would like if he was only listening to like gospel music, but like, I don't think he's like, I don't think, last I checked, the Lord is still alive. So I don't think that me
Right.
listening to the murder gangs of the world,
Yeah.
taking them out.
And it's not like God would have shunned it either. I mean, God probably would have shunned something from Little Uzi Vert, if that was like actually talking about praising the devil. But I do feel like
You know, I can't
God
stand that man.
wouldn't have.
Jesus was friends with strippers and prostitutes, bro. Like,
They were the homies.
I'm not
That's
saying
why
that
I
he would have
can't.
been in Magic City throwing money, but like he not
Yeah.
out here like I don't know. I just feel like your grandma is more sensitive than the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%. And that should be the name of the episode. Your grandma is
It's
more
more
sensitive.
sensitive than the Lord. I love when we find the episode title. I think it's also just funny because like I feel like these be the same aunties who definitely went up for like sister acts. You know what I'm saying? Like the sister act movies was a little secular too, but y'all was
Y'all was
in
jiving.
the theaters.
hmm Um,
I also just
but
think it's interesting that like Chloe Bailey's first lead movie is Praise This, which is a church movie. And one of her first roles in the industry was playing young Beyonce in The Fighting Temptations, which is also a church movie.
Oh, I know that they had various, they being Chloe and Halle, because if you guys didn't know, Chloe Bailey is a part of a duo, Chloe X
Oh,
Halle.
yeah. And they're
Um,
sisters, not twins.
but yeah, no, because they even on Disney they were singing in a little choir in those
Oh,
roles.
yeah, weren't they in
So
Let It Shine?
yes, I think so.
Boom.
I
So
think
they
so.
love a church movie, okay? One thing about
Right.
it. They love a church movie, they love the Lord. Y'all not gonna play them.
And the reason why people didn't love this movie, this church movie, was because it wasn't your typical church movie.
We've kind of talked about this and like this movie not being your grandma's church movie, but like what is a church movie to you?
See, because as somebody who is writing a church movie,
Oh Lord.
keep an eye out for that one. That one's going to get people talking. I think
Caleb,
it's
they're gonna be talking about you on TikTok. They're gonna be like, this movie, Caleb McDonald is leading people to the devil.
no, they might actually based off where the movie's going. That's all I'm gonna say on it. But
I'm gonna pray for you now. I'm gonna just
but
start now.
no, because my biggest thing about church movies are movies in general are supposed to like imitate life. Art imitates life. So I don't see why one would edit out the parts of life that aren't so clean cut. Like that's nonsense to me. To me, if I want to define what a church movie really is, at its core, it's like a movie about faith.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, it's a movie about faith and exploring that faith, whether it's dying faith, whether it's increasing faith, whether it's getting to the faith,
Hmm.
because a lot of that can't be told. Like people could hear the story, but it won't, unless you have faith yourself. And this isn't anything, not even just Christianity or any religion, but like having faith is something that you can't really just share with people. Like it's something that
Right.
needs to be experienced in order to understand a level of what that faith actually entails.
I agree. I think it's interesting. Like I said, I used to go to Transformation. Now I switch churches. Now I go to Change Church with Darius Daniels. Still online because I don't live in New Jersey or Atlanta. But
Mm,
he just finished doing a 3-part series called Stranger Things. Or Strange. Yeah, it was called Stranger Things. But it was talking about like faith and having like strange faith and how. And the last sermon was about strange faith and how it's built. But he's like, you have to build faith and you have to be gifted faith. And there's experiences that you have where the Lord is going to give you faith that builds that for another season. So that way, when something else isn't working out, you're like, but I know how the Lord did for me back then. And I think the problem with Christians is like, we don't like to talk about back then or what I've been through. We like to say God had brought me through, but we don't want to talk about what the through was. And we don't want to really delve into our experiences. But like I've been reading the Bible over the last 2 years, intentionally and like really like reading it. I read the New Testament last year. Now I'm reading the Old Testament, but it's like the Bible is full of stories of people who are coming to faith. Like not everybody we meet in the Bible is already a man or woman of God. You got
right.
people who was out here serving the Romans and then become, servants of God. Or you have talked about people who it's like, I just finished reading, and now of course I'm not gonna remember the woman's name. I want to say, is this the story of Ruth? I may be wrong. But like she wanted a baby. She's married to a man. His other wife is having kids. She can't have one. And she's like
Mm,
praying to God, asking for a baby. She's like, if you give me a child, if you give me a child, I will give that child back to you as soon as it's weaned, right? Like that's how she built her faith, and it's an expression of her faith, but it also is developing more faith in her. And I think like we have to stop again thinking of God as so limited, where we God goes through everything with you. And I think if we're going to talk about movies about God, like you were saying, is they can't just be folks sitting in church all day. We have to talk about how people get to church. We have to talk about how church hurts people and how they leave faith and come back. Like I think those are all stories that are so relevant and so important that when we sit up here and try to shame people for their walks with God, it makes people not want to be with God. And I feel like there's like as many young people as I know who are like pursuing a relationship with God, I also know just as many people who are like, I don't need to know him. I don't believe in him. I don't, all these things because of the way that people act. And I think it's really sad. I think for me, it's like evangelism isn't just you stopping somebody on the street and being like, are you saved? Let me tell you about Jesus. That's a form of evangelism, and that worked for somebody. But I also think that music is a form of evangelism. I think that movies can be a form of evangelism. I think that, all of it is a form. I think it's relevant. And just because I think the problem is the Bible was written at a time before technology existed. And so just because at the time there was one way to spread a message doesn't mean that the new ways of spreading messages are wrong. Like there are people on TikTok who, are doing evangelism, and it might not look like, what the pastor is doing, but it still is bringing souls to Christ. And at the end of the day, like if that is the thing, then does it really matter? And yes, when you get into religion, you get in church, you learn things, you do things differently. But like IDK, as an imperfect Christian who still be cussing and listening to, I need to stop picking on 21. Who can I pick on now? And still be, listening to
YG.
YG. Thank you. My good friend, Mr. Keenan. Yes. But like, I still be listening to him, and guess what? I still love the Lord. And that's on period. I can't wait till people our age, like Pastor like Michael Todd and like Sarah Jakes Roberts, they still a little bit older than us. I can't wait till the young people are really getting the Lord and they be in here talking about, can I get a period? Like, I need it.
The new translation.
And that's the devil is a what? A bum. Like, I need all of it because that's how I talk for real.
No, because like a whole covenant of the religion. I don't know if I use that right.
Pillar of the religion?
A whole pillar. Yes, a whole pillar of the religion is the fact that literally everybody is a sinner. Like everybody. Like nobody.
You were literally born as a sinner. You had sinned when you were in your mother's womb, bro. Like you sin, bro. That's what it is.
And it don't matter how many times you revitalize yourself and become anew in God. Your people still sin according to the religion. So that being said, that makes it even crazier that there would be this idea of, oh, we don't want to see that. We don't want it portrayed. That's life, though.
That's literally life. And I think that's the thing is like your Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts has a podcast, and she says this all the time. She's like, God can't bless you with who you pretend to be. God can only bless you in the lane that was created for you. So if I'm out here trying to act like I ain't never been through nothing, ain't never did nothing bad, how am I going to get what God is trying to get to me and through me when I'm not even being me? It don't make sense. And I think that regardless of, yes, did they cuss in the movie? Was there some drinking in the movie? There's a mention of somebody making a tape in the movie. But I still think that all of those things go to everyone's journey is not the same. You are not too far gone to have a relationship with Christ. And I think that realistically, because you're showing imperfect people finding God, honestly, this is one of the more positive promotions of Christianity because it doesn't make you feel like you have to be a specific person or a specific way to get there.
Right. Yeah, no, because like from the second they show the pastor with the tattoos, like you know what the movie's going for.
I'm just crying because one of my favorite moments of the movie, so we can kind of transition there. One of my favorite moments is the beginning. When they are at the Nationals from the year before and they singing them old, and again, I love the song Break Every Chain, but the way they sang it was dry.
Right.
That was one of the driest renditions of that song I had ever heard in my life. So then when they start to go downhill and Aaron, aka Drewski, starts to rapping.
That was unforgivable.
Smash it.
Pass the what?
Every time I'm listening to the album on my phone, I forget that they actually included his rap as the last track of the album. And it's like a long silence, and then you just hear out of nowhere Aaron's rap, and I promise you, I'm in tears laughing every single time. But I also like that, Drewski's character was still selling weed on the low. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
he praising God, but he's still, doing other things. I think that's an important thing to show, because like just because you come to Christ don't mean that yes, you are a new creation in Christ, but that don't be immediate necessarily for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still might live that life a little bit. You still might be outside a little bit. God still
Right.
love you. And if God loved me, how come Christians can't?
Boom. Boom. Mic drop.
I did that.
No, I will say my favorite moment of the movie, which should be a lot of people's favorite, as cringy as it might have been to get there,
Uh-oh.
the scene where Sam uh freestyles on all those songs.
Yo, she ate.
When she did emotionally scarred by little baby and used the I'm tired of being tired.
When she did the what's the one at the end? I think it's what's her Maya
Escape?
Rudolph's mama, her song.
Was that one Escape?
No, there was the Who Can I Turn To at the end of this. I can sing. I was just singing the song the other day, but it's like, who can heal my scars? Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. The fact that you are really not helping me out, and I'm just over here humming these words. It's that
I'm
one.
trying
That one. Fudge.
I was trying to find it.
I have it on my phone. It's this one. This song is Don't Give Us a Copyright Claim. We just trying to talk about the Lord. This one. That one, 8.
Yeah.
8 down. She honestly ate the whole
No, because
scene.
I'm not gonna lie. Because of that scene, I almost came to Christ again.
Listen, I was in there crying. That song, and like I said, the Nationals final, them two, they eat down. Chloe Bailey is a singer, okay? That is a good vocal right there. I enjoyed that moment. It was a good moment. Such a good moment. Honestly, the movie, like you said, the movie was at its best when they were singing.
Yeah.
I still want to know why Sam took her raggedy behind and stole that man's song.
Least favorite moment of the movie right there.
I was so angry because, girl, why? The song you came up with, don't worry about me. Bop. It'll be all right. And it was eaten. So why did you have to do all the rest of that?
My thing is strategically, y'all prepared for the other song before. Why not just use, like, if you really wanted to, why not use that track for the final competition? Like,
that's what I'm saying. You could have remixed it again. Like, I don't know what she was doing with that. Honestly, there were some, again, but my issue, the storyline with Sam and Ty upset me in a number of ways. Also, they really set us up for the whole Sam and Aaron storyline, and then just, which I'm kind of glad, like, the whole movie didn't devolve into like a romantic triangle, because that would have been boring.
right.
Like, girl, no. Like, I like that the ultimate love story was her and like God, but like, there were just some moments that I'm like, if you was gonna mention it, I needed you to see it through.
Bring it back. Yeah. No, I feel
like that's like a big thing in the church movies though. Like, jumping the broom is like similar. There are some storylines in Jumping the Broom where I'm like, why did y'all do this?
Yeah, I feel like,
but I feel
like it got to be the studio execs being like, that's not Christian, take it out.
I don't even think it's that, because like I feel like, Hollywood got its own issues,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like it's that. I think it's just that, like, a lot of the church movies have so many characters and they try to create so many storylines that at the end they're like, oh, this movie is 2 hours. Who's the main character again? All right, finish that and move on. Versus like, I don't know. I think there are ensemble movies, which is funny because like Think Like a Man is also a Will Packer movie where I don't have the same critiques. Like, I feel like all the storylines that are brought up are finished neatly in a clear, concise, in a way that makes sense. So I think it's something about the church movies. Maybe it's about the Christianity. Maybe it's about the length. Maybe it's about just like, I don't know what it is, but I've noticed that in a lot of the church movies that there just seems to be like just a little missing.
Yeah, something always missing.
But if you guys have not seen this movie, I still personally think it's worth a watch. It's just under 2 hours. It's very fun. The music is good. Corinne Hawthorne doing that remix of Money by Cardi B killed it. And then they have a video on Instagram of Cardi B hearing it for the first time in the studio with Corinne Hawthorne. And Cardi B was so into it. She was so into it. She was like, "Oh, you did that, girl. I like that." And I was like, period.
No, I need to see that. And as for me, you know, again, if you're looking for a fun little movie,
It
I do
eats.
think.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
But this has been another episode of the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. Like I said, like we've said before, we're back for season 2. Very excited to be back. Very excited to have y'all. But you know, if you want to keep up with folks, you can follow us at nosleepxprod. You can also follow me at gsmitty with 2 T's and 4 Y's on Instagram, and at G_Smitty with 2 T's and 4 Y's on TikTok.
And you can follow me, Caleb McDonald, on anything with an @ symbol at Caleb Subtitles, because I love my subtitles and I be talking a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to fix my things back. I have to make a new TikTok, y'all. So that's why I don't say with anything of the @ symbol no more. Because Caleb did steal that from me. Let's be very clear. But I can't say that no more because I have to change my TikTok. But we're fixing it. We're working on it. But yeah, guys. Until next time. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Bonsoir. Bonjour. Bonne nuit. Adios.
Adios.
Bye.